universe of beer and music.
Hey everyone, DrTangent here, back for yet another foray into the wonderland that is beer and music. But first we need to talk about human nature. It's natural for people to start to discount something when it becomes very common, even if it is very, very good. It could be a sterling example of whatever that thing is. But if it becomes prevalent and accepted and mainstream, human beings tend to conveniently forget how good something can be. That's pretty natural, I think. So tonight, that's kind of our theme. Things that are fantastic examples, but because they became so mainstream, they get forgotten. First, however, we need to talk about beer styles, because we're talking about a beer tonight that is a sterling example of its style. So we got to talk a little bit about where styles come from. Who decides what styles are? In beer, that falls to history, because some beer styles are just so old that we know from history what they're supposed to be. But beyond that, it falls to an organization called the Beer Judge Certification Program, or the BJCP. You may hear me refer to BJCP guidelines here and there as I talk about beer. The BJCP was formed in 1985. It's a worldwide organization for the training and support of judges in beer competitions. Beer and other fermented products like ciders and meads and things like that. Among the activities that the BJCP is responsible for is defining and publishing style guidelines. This is a voluminous work that lists all of the different styles of beer and the characteristics that make up that particular style. This is done to assist judges in judging competition entries. Kind of think of it like a dog show, and the BJCP is like the AKC, the American Kennel Club. The American Kennel Club decides which dog breeds are recognized and what characteristics the judges should look for as the perfect example of each breed. Same thing with the BJCP. They develop these guidelines to assist judges in knowing what characteristics to look for in any particular beer style that they're judging. Tonight, we're going to look at a particular style called the cream ale. This is an old American style. BJCP describes it as a clean, well attenuated, put a pin in that, we'll talk about well attenuated in a second, highly carbonated, flavorful American lawnmower beer. Now, lawnmower beer, as you can probably guess, we're talking about a beer that's crisp and refreshing when cold and serves very well as a thirst quencher after mowing the lawn on a warm summer day. It should be easily drinkable, smooth and refreshing, with more character than the typical American lager, yet still subtle and restrained. Now, when I said well attenuated, what that means is when it's fermented, the yeast does a very good job of eating all the sugars. So there's not a lot of residual sugars left in the beer. When the yeast does a really good job of eating all the sugars, that's called well attenuated. Okay, so what does the BJCP say as far as the sterling example of a cream ale? This may surprise some people. And this is where the theme of tonight's show comes in. Because listed among the 3 or 4 commercial examples of what the nearly perfect version of a cream ale is this. The venerable Genesee Cream Ale. Yes. The beer you can go out now and probably find at a distributor for $20 for a 30 pack is one of the best versions of the cream ale made. And it is actually a really good beer. I like it a lot. But anyway, this is made by the Genesee Brewing Company out of Rochester, New York. First made in 1960, and what they were going for, what they described the beer as all the way back in 1960 is smooth like a lager, crisp like an ale. Weighs in at 5.2%. And this beer, talking about being really good, has won a number of awards over the years. In fact, between 1987 and 2005, it medaled 10 times at the Great American Beer Fest. You may hear people refer to GABF, gold medal winner. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about the Great American Beer Fest, which is the biggest professional beer competition in the United States and probably in the world. But between 1987 and 2005, the lowly Genesee Cream Ale took home 2 golds, 5 silvers, and 3 bronzes. So it is a really good example. So let's take a look. As you can see, it is brilliantly clear. Very, very clear, pale gold beer. Beautiful looking, thick, fluffy head. Very effervescent. A lot of bubble action in there. I mean, it's so clear that you can actually read. Get it close enough. So you can read the coaster through the beer. Aromas are subtle, but definitely there. You get a lot of graininess, cereal scent, cereal aroma, some corn aroma. That's not an off flavor. Corn is actually an ingredient of cream ales. They're made with a decent amount of corn in addition to malted barley. And you get some fairly noble hop characteristics. So when I say noble hops, what someone means when they say noble hops, we're talking about the old original continental European, German type hops. I'll do a beer short pretty soon on the different types of hops and what you can kind of expect when you see different hops mentioned. But when we talk about noble hops, we're talking about traditional German hops, crisp hop bite, not a ton of bitterness. And as far as aromas go, they're mostly described as earthy or herbal or floral in nature. And that's right up the alley for this. You get a nice grainy cereal-like scent, a little bit of corn, and a little bit of earthy herbalness on top. Just a beautiful looking beer. Smells great. Smells very refreshing. And yeah, it's a great beer to have cold. Some beers you don't want to have too terribly cold. This is a great lawnmower beer. It's crisp, refreshing, not overly bitter, but definitely has some hop bite to it. There's not a lot of residual sweetness, although you do get a little perception of sweetness from the cereal-like nature of the malt backbone in it, the grain backbone. But it's a beautiful, beautiful beer. So what do we pair with this? With the theme of so popular it gets overlooked, so popular that its brilliance gets overlooked. Well, I'm not going to say. I'm just going to go ahead and play it.
I remember, don't worry. How could I ever forget? It's the first time and the last time we ever met. But I know the reason why you keep your silence, sir. No, you don't fool me. 'Cause I heard guys in shadow, pain still grows. Some stranger treated you and me. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord, feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh
Just wow. How could you forget how great this song is, especially this live version, which is just phenomenal. The whole song is just a slow burning build to that drum fill. And people at the concert were probably like, oh, he's not behind the drum set. He's not going to play the drums for this song. And he just slowly, methodically, emotion just oozing out of him. And you can tell that a lot of his emotions in the song are negative emotions. Just makes his way around the stage, slowly ends up on that riser, and then there comes a drum set. And he sits down just in time for that fill. It's just, I shouldn't have to make an argument as to why this is one of the greatest songs of all time. But I'm ready to make that argument. A little bit of information about Phil. He had more U.S. top 40 singles than any other artist in the 1980s. I mean, think of some of the artists in the 1980s. Michael Jackson, Prince. Nope. Phil Collins, number one. He's also one of the world's best-selling artists. One of only 3 artists who have sold over 1 million records, both as a solo artist and another minimum million records as part of a band. He did it in his solo work and when he was with Genesis. The other 2 on that list are Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney and Phil Collins. That's it. Nobody else has ever done that. In 2006, this song was listed as at number 35 on VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of the 80s. And in 2021, this song was listed at number 291, which doesn't sound very impressive. But that was in Rolling Stone's 50 greatest songs of all time. So there you have it. Phil Collins needs some respect. Put some respect on his name. Respect this song. Love this song. Play this song more. Drink this beer more. And have an open mind. Open not only to new things, but remembering old things that were really, really good that tend to get disrespected because they just became so popular or common or everyday. So if you like the video, give it a like, comment, let me know. Say what you like, say what you don't like. Let me know if there's other songs that you would like me to hear. Let me know if there's other beers you would like me to review. Subscribe, please. Subscribe. And when you do subscribe, make sure you click on that notification bell so that you get updated. New content coming out weekly. And feel free to share. There you have it. Sometimes the best thing in the world is right in front of you every day and you just don't see it. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.